drink. Let me get my drink off.
Oh, jeez. Are you good and ready, dude?
I'm ready. Let's
Are
go.
you drinking an adult beverage?
I don't drink.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Oh,
whatever,
it's
dude.
spring
Get your
root
little
beer.
chocolate. Get your off-brand chocolate milk out of here, dude. All right, welcome back, guys. This is the Little We Know podcast, episode four.
Is
Episode
it?
four today.
Yeah, but
Today,
you've probably only seen two because somebody's slacking on
Will slacking.
the third one. We're gonna do a double episode this next week. Even if I have to post it
Absolutely.
from the back seat of a car, I will do it.
All right, but today it's just going to be me and Will. It's going to be a very relaxed and probably nerdy podcast. But it's okay because Jacory bailed on us, and we had a little bit of issues with our guests this week, just with their daily life, colliding with time zone differences and things like that.
Yeah,
So I
major
still think we'll
time
have a
zone
good day though.
differences, like damn near 24-hour time zone difference.
Yeah, I looked that up and I was like, I said that's crazy.
Dog, when I first so our guest Mosh, I met him on Reddit, and when I first started talking to him, I had to look up where he was from. Like, I had heard of Bangladesh, but I was like, is that India? Is that also India? Like, I felt so stupid. I had to look it up, and honestly, I still don't remember. So I'm kind of excited for him to come on the podcast,
Explain it.
explain it, point it out on a map, help a brother out. Um, yeah, so I mean, we'll just kind of shoot the breeze here. A couple of things that I was thinking about discussing today was, you know, per theme, the little we know, I actually learned a bit about a little business venture that I want to share with folks on my Uber ride when I got back from Philly yesterday. Uh, I was kind of like thinking, am I going to talk to dude or am I just going to leave my headphones in and be, because honestly, like I usually get in the Uber and I'm not trying to talk to people, but when I got my ride to the airport on Wednesday, the person was just like talking my ear off and I was so tired and I just like had to go with it. And when I got back last night, I was like, I'm tired. I haven't slept. I don't want to talk, but I was like, dude seems cool. And he schooled me on, right? So education time, right? I know
Hold
nothing.
on. Before we start this, I want everybody to understand that a Harvard graduate, all right, there's stuff that he does not know. So for everybody out there, when he tries to flex on me and Jacory and everybody else that he is the smartest creation on this planet, just know that's not the case. This
No,
proves it.
that is not
Whatever.
me at all. So my man Gabriel, he's from Cape Verde. We talked a lot about Cape Verde. But like I was like, what did you do before you were an Uber driver? Cape Verde is a little island off of Africa. It was colonized by Portugal. And so natively they speak Portuguese, but primarily like Cape Verdean Creole. But all their government documents and stuff like that are in Portuguese, kind of like in the US. All of our documents are in English because that's who we were colonized by. So he schooled me on a lot of stuff, gave me a good book recommendation to learn more about Cape Verde. But as we were getting closer to the crib, he was talking about like these business ventures he's in, because he had all these different kinds of jobs. He worked in shipping, he worked in banking, he worked in real estate, like all kinds of jobs, right? And the crazy thing is when you get into an Uber drive, when you get into an Uber with someone, you might just assume like either this is what they do all the time or they definitely have other jobs and like they're just now kind of doing Uber. So I had a feeling dude was like, um, you know, he had other things that he had been involved in. But he was talking to me about like this new venture he's gotten into called drop shipping. Have you ever heard of this before? Drop shipping?
Nah, man. This is all you, bro. I'm gonna be
Sure.
honest with
Okay.
you.
I'm sure the viewers have, right? But essentially, it kind of sounds like a scam. So just kind of roll with me for a bit because I'm still mighty skeptical about it. I need to do some more research on it. But essentially, some of the companies he was talking about I was familiar with, he essentially worked with like through Amazon, AliExpress, and another kind of like big shipper out of China, right? They have like these big manufacturing warehouses where they get companies that make products that then have them get sold through wholesale to these like AliExpress, stuff like that. And then through these bigger companies, they need to have a means of selling and shipping items to, say, people in the US, right? So oftentimes they'll use something like Amazon, maybe they'll go through AliExpress, but they have to pay to utilize like Amazon services. I mean, Jeff Bezos is worth like what, $100,000 billion or something like that. Like, he got that money somehow, and a lot of it is through, when people utilize Amazon, not only does he make profits from the purchases, but he also makes profits from the sales, right? So what this guy was telling me about Gabriel was like he and his wife have a business where they just cut out the middleman. They work directly with these companies, these wholesalers in China. They purchase an account with them to have their services, their goods marketed on he and his wife's website. And he showed me their website, and they have like a storefront online, and they post pictures, and they market like shirts and clothes and hats and stuff like that, for X amount of dollars. So maybe you want to buy this shirt on his website for $30, right? The manufacturer is really this warehouse holder in China. And instead of the warehouse in China having to deal with shipping and managing all the shipment of the product, when you go on to my man Gabriel's website to buy that shirt, Gabriel's website processes the shipping, sends the order to the warehouse in China, and then they send it directly to your home, right? So essentially, I think the reason why this makes money for someone, not everyone, but someone makes money, because that warehouse would have to like create all these different websites and get them translated all over the country for people to be able to go to their storefront and buy. But instead, they are going to have you do it. And they're going to give you a part of the profit for everything that you sell on your website. So essentially, I'm the manufacturer. I got this crate of t-shirts that I need to have offloaded. You pay me a monthly fee to be a part of my group of sellers, right? And you develop the website, post all the pictures of the products that I have. As people buy them on your website, I'll ship it out. You give me access to like the shipping numbers and stuff like that. I'll send it out to people because I'm a shipping company, like I'm a warehouse, I can do that. And then I give you like 10 to 20% of everything that gets sold on your website. And all you have to do is maintain the website and post the products that I'm selling on your website, right? So you don't have to go to the UPS or FedEx or anywhere like that to ship. Like my company's going to take care of all that, but I need you to sell, right? Like you're the salesman. Your website sells product. And for everything that I sell, I make a profit, you make a profit. And really, Gabriel was telling me that the only thing he and his wife paid for is they paid someone to make their website because they're not very tech savvy. And then they pay this company that has all the product to be a part of their group, right? So that was the skinny of what he told me. But the other interesting piece about this is that there are some people who started out doing this for a while, drop shipping, and then they got really good at it, and now they don't even do drop shipping anymore. They train people to do drop shipping.
To do it for them.
So there's this guy in this area here. He was showing me his advertisements and stuff like that. He's a local guy in Boston, and he charges, and he gets it you can pay between like $1,000 up to $15,000 to take his class.
Holy.
Right. But if you pay him $15,000, right, he guarantees you, I don't know if it's or your money back thing or whatnot. Again, I'm not trying to viewers, hear me out here. I'm just trying to educate you.
This is never good.
No, I want to clarify though. Like, I'm not trying to turn our podcast into some like snake oil salesman, right? I just learned about this. Our viewers might learn about this. They might be interested. I'll share once I finish with this expedition, like my experience in this work. But he was telling me that this guy guarantees all his students, depending on which level they've applied to, that within a year that they would make X amount of profit. And I don't know if it's like, or your money back kind of thing. Cause I'm thinking to myself, like, one of his classes was 15, no, the highest, the platinum version of his class, which was, it literally was like almost a year long course that you take with this guy. And he develops the website for you. He manages your connection to all these different distributors. And now you're not working, when you do a platinum class, you're not working with just like one warehouse in China. Like you're working with a whole host of retailers who are using you and your website to sell their product, right? That cost $50,000.
15 or 50?
50. That's for the high, like the diamond tier course, right? $50,000. The guy says that if you take this course and finish it, you will make in your first year $250,000.
Well,
now,
think I might get a bank loan.
That's just what I heard. That's now he and his wife are doing like the 10,000 version right now. And this is where I'm kind of like, again, we got to share both sides of the coin, right? This is Gabriel telling me about all this stuff. He's meeting these people through this guy who does these classes, and they're telling him they're making 250,000, no college degree, out of high school, like just grinding, just like, I don't know how they're getting the money to start off, but apparently there's like a lot of young people in the greater Boston area who are doing these drop shipping courses that Gabriel knows who are pulling in bank. And that's what he's inspired to work up to. But my apprehension for all this, right, and the kind of the coming back down to earth piece is that he and his wife aren't really making much. Like I saw his website, it was all right. He paid like $200 for it. I'm like, if you knew a bit more about how to make a website, like you wouldn't need to pay this much for a website. And I saw their products. It was mostly clothing, shirts, stuff like that. Stuff that to me looked overpriced that I don't think people would really, they're not going to find his obscure website to buy a shirt for like $30. So he was like, yeah, we want to kind of get our merchandise changed. But my thought here though is like, I wonder if you're tech savvy enough, right? And you just cut out the middleman and you work out these deals yourself with these different warehouses, things that you could start selling is like aftermarket iPhone, aftermarket computers, high-end tech, like computers, TVs. There's a big market for handheld game systems right now, where there's all sorts of makers coming out all over the country. A lot of them in China, where they're like making these handheld, like really powerful gaming devices. But the challenge is the shipping, right? If you buy from China direct, you might be waiting months to get that in. But I'm wondering, like, if you're a drop shipper and you've worked out the deal and you get a bit in hand sent to you directly, and then you have people buying them through your website and you start to manage the shipping yourself, you can start to cut out some of these middle people. You can start paying these shipping companies, these manufacturers like less. You just buy from them in wholesale. You get them shipped to yourself. You put them on your website, and then you charge a premium for it. But the benefit for you doing it that way is like if you got an American customer buying it, they don't want to wait 2 months. Now they got something coming from Ohio or Boston out to California. That's going to be way quicker than it going through customs and coming in through China. So again, I'm very curious about this drop shipping thing. I want to look more into it. I only learned about it last night. But it sounds like something that if you put the time and effort into it, it could be pretty easy passive income. And at one point I used to do something like this in Amazon where I had some really rare like video games that I was never going to play anymore. And this was like when people started really like trying to collect video games, and I just started putting them on Amazon, and I would make like $50-$60 for like these used like Xbox 360 games that were apparently like rare. And then I just kept going with it. And then the big thing I found that people were like buying on Amazon like crazy were like razors, like shaving razors. Like I'd go to
Yep.
Costco, get a Costco membership, buy these boxes of razors on the cheap, and then I'd sell them for like the premium price on Amazon, and then we'd sell out. And then we would just have to take them and either do like a Amazon drop box, we just drop them in the box if someone comes and picks them up, or we just go to we have some Amazon stores here in Boston, we just drop them off and then they ship them out. I don't know why we stopped doing that,
That's
but we were making money on that.
it's kind of what it's like for me. Like okay. I've seen it on TikTok a lot, but I also I've met a guy one day. I was shopping somewhere and like he was buying just like you and Alicia were, like he was just buying a bunch of stuff. Like I was at Sam's Club and you know how they got like the body one, like the 80,000?
Yeah,
And dude, he just literally went to the shelf and just just mopped it all. Like I was like, dude, I was like, you're gonna be clean if you get one bottle. I was like you will be fine, dude. I was like,
right.
I'm not gonna tell you that you stink. He's like, nah, man. He's like, I do this thing on Amazon where like you just, if Amazon's selling it for $10 and they're, Sam's Club is selling it for five, like you buy it for five at Sam's Club and you send it to Amazon, and that
Yep,
$5 per bottle is profit for you. I
yep.
was like, dude, like that's low key, that's fire. And I thought it was a good idea, and I think it would work really, really well for me if I had somebody to tell me like, hey, look for this. You know what I mean? Because I go to like six different Sam's Clubs on my way
Right,
home
right.
just from working in Toledo.
Yep.
So like I could hit Sam's Club, Costco, and then like whatever, or BJ's or something. In all of them, membership's like $300 a year, and for all of them.
Right.
And I go there, I guarantee I can make $300 in like a week off of
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah, no,
But I feel like it's a lot of upfront money to start though. You know what I mean? You got to
everything
buy
is
a couple $100 worth of stuff.
but I mean, it's the old adage though. It takes money to make money, right? Like it's how you build.
Yeah,
It's like the difference between someone who makes a little money on the stock market and then they go and they spend it all because they're like, oh, I'm rich, and then the 1% who are people who make money and then they continue to invest that money, right? To
yeah,
build equity beyond just like physical, money, but like acquiring property, businesses, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a pretty good little discussion to generate within the
I,
community
f-
about
I feel like it's definitely something
passive
to.
income.
I think it sounds legit. Like I feel like it's one of those things that like it's not. It doesn't sound like a bad gig. I mean, personally, I would do what I'd say because you're not. I mean, you don't know those people in China. You know what I mean? Like this Amazon thing. Like it's just you, and you go to Amazon. You know what I mean? You ship that in box loads. I feel like that's a lot safer. I mean, a lot of people have issues, or at least I know I got issues. I don't like just sending money places. I'm broke. I'm broke
Uh,
as a joke. All right,
but
I
here's my
don't mean
thing
that.
though. I'm thinking like I'm thinking, I have a visa for China at least for a couple more years. Um, and I'm thinking I just
Oh,
might
so Will's gonna go fight the guy and whoop his ass.
no,
I mean, beat him up if he steals
no,
his money.
no,
I
no.
see what you're getting at, dude.
That's
Don't
not
gonna
what I'm
lie to
getting
me.
at. I'm getting at I get a dude who's fluent in like Mandarin, Cantonese, or whatever. We go to China. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're trying to do. We broker some business deals. We set up an LLC back in the States, right? We get another guy to look into like, maybe like some sort of tax attorney. What are we looking at in terms of taxes? We were looking at in terms of like, because everything you have to do it in thinking of like what is your profit margin against your investment, and are you going to be able to not just break even but make money, not lose money. And I'm thinking like you just go there and just broker deals. I mean, like I get it. We have like this over reliance on goods from China. um it's not going to stop anytime soon, however. And so I'm just thinking like you could it could be like the Wild West, like this drop shipping thing where The problem is how long it takes for things to get here, things being held up in customs, right? Paying exorbitant.
I got a better idea.
No, we just roll it to China. Broker, cut the middleman out.
Dude,
What drug dealers do.
how about this? How about we hold on? Don't bring drug dealers into this. That is a great industry to get into. Now stop it.
It's a great
Anyways,
industry to get into. Is
what
that what
if?
you said? It's a great industry to get into.
Nah, man, I said it's a horrible industry. Anyway, I mean, think about it. All right, we go to China. All right, we buy a plane, like cargo plane. All right, we get our pilot's license, our international license. We go to these manufacturers and say, hey, we will speed up the shipping times, right? If you let us haul your product, and we'll haul it over to the Amazon facilities like that, right? I mean, it's a big upfront cost, but I mean, what is it, Matt? Just a couple million to buy a plane? I mean, it's gonna be fine, right? So what we do is we get the plane, and then we, fly
With Amazon, like, be
right over town.
great with us showing up in our own plane, like we have stuff to drop off at your warehouse. Like, I'm sure Jeff Bezos and his
Hey,
thought of all the ways to make money, and there's got to be some way they'd be losing money by us doing this. Why don't we just make our own Amazon? The dude started out selling books. He got a loan from his parents. I think he had some wealthy parents. He had parents that were richer than ours. Started selling books.
see, here's the issue with that, Will. We're struggling, brother. Like, we got nothing, cousin.
Dog, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hold on, real talk. All right, viewers, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a cute little puppy. His name is Dexter. He's a golden lab. Anyways, that little shitbox ate my wallet one day, all right? And he done tore up all my debit cards, my credit cards, my ID, everything. And also, I did a side job and I picked up the cash, $600 in cash. $600 blue Benjamins, all right? Let me tell you, he ate every last ounce of them. So I had to buy a new wallet. My wallet didn't make it. So I bought a new wallet, guys. And I'm a very picky guy. I mean, I'm a male, so I'm gonna have this wallet for at least the next 30 years. I mean, and if not, like, I'm not really a man. I mean, personally, that's kind of how I see it.
I think I bought this. Wow, now that you mention it, look what happened. Look at my wallet. Look at that. I got to get
Oh.
Oh no! Look at that. It's literally falling apart right now. You just had to say something.
Hey.
You didn't jinx me. I swear to God. This was a fossil wallet. I think I spent like $30 on this years ago.
Hey, guess what? I went to my own store. Oh, first off, this is a great story. All right, so I went over to my mom's one day, and I go over there. I was checking on the boys and whatnot, and my mom wanted to see the puppy, so I left her grandson over there, and I went over, and I got the boys, and we went to go get haircuts. Well, we went to go get haircuts, and I was like, man, like, I really need a wallet. I like bifold wallets and trifold garbage things. It's not for Johnny, all right? It's too much unfolding. I can't stand it. So I went to Marshall's. Like, I had a couple of people, like, I was asking around, like, where's the best place to buy a wallet? I couldn't find one online that I wanted. So I felt like it'd be better when in a store and, like, looked, like, opened it, put my cards in it, something like that. Everybody was like, dude, go to Marshall's, go to Marshall's. I'm like, if my last name is Marshall, I'm in there like swimwear. They're probably going to come to the door, saying, welcome back, boss.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
appreciate you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Remember,
that
you
didn't
have no
happen.
money.
But, whoa, brother, chill out. We got offshore financials. But, I went in there and it was kind of a unique store. I mean, the one that I went into, I don't know how the rest of them are, but, like, I mean, it just looked like there was a bunch of used clothes that was just parked down. It was kind of like a Plato's Closet or like it was like a high-end Goodwill is what it felt like.
At Marshall?
Dude, that's what it felt like. I swear. That's what it looked like, bro. That's what it
I thought they sold, like, I didn't think they were like
I'm getting there, man. So I'm like, I walk in and the first thing I look for is like the clothes stuff. I like graphic tees. I mean, I'm just in a V-neck white tee now, but I wanted to look for like some graphic tees and a wallet.
Like
That was
tap
kind of
out.
like my game plan. Yeah, sure, I guess, but that's kind of what the game plan was. So I walked right to the clothes section, and dude, it was crazy. Like there was like there was like clothes from like TJ Maxx that had tags on it, right? And the shirt would
Yeah.
be like 44.95, and then like somebody like got a Sharpie, crossed that out, and put a Marshall sticker on it for like 10.99.
What?
And that was how the whole store was, dude. It was awesome. I don't know. I don't know what was going
Oh,
on, but I've seen a bunch of stuff like that, which was cool. All right, I'm not
I've
complaining.
never heard of any stuff like that.
Man, well, hold on, it gets better. So I'm like, dude, like this store's kind of legit. Everything's cheap. Like, might as well take a look around, see what I need, you know? And I walked through and I didn't find anything in the clothes section. I was looking for a pair of slides. I didn't find nothing. Whatever. So then I get back to the back of the store, and there was a bunch of like kind of like home decor, like I mean like coffee tables, little benches,
Yeah.
plants, picture frames, all that kind of stuff. That was pretty cool. And I showed Josh and Logan, a couple different kitchen utensils. I mean, they're just stuff they've never seen or anything. So I was, giving them a little rundown on just what things do. And we picked up candles together, like little white girls, and we smelled candles and stuff. And
No offense
fun
to little white
fact,
girls who like candles. You
here's
can
one of the candles.
see
Look,
because of your blur, it's blurring out the candle. We can't really see.
yeah, I'm working on it. All right, guys, hold on. You know what? I'm not very good at this. Background blur, none. All right,
Oh Jesus.
but look, no, this way. St. Dolores,
Six
dude.
dollars. Wow.
Now underneath of that, it says something that's greater than $6. I don't know what it is, but really cool candle I found. Me, Josh, and Logan, we were all like, "Oh, dude, it smells good." I was like, "Bet, we'll grab it. $6, I can work with it." But hold on, the story gets better. So we get to bed sheets. I love bed sheets and stuff like bed sets. I like to switch it up. Some I like the lighter colors, and then sometimes in the winter you're feeling dark colors. They hold the heat in better. I like good mumbo jumbo. Well, I'm walking, and after we get through all the home decor, the bed sheets, all that good stuff, I walk up to the cologne section. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't wear cologne. Strong smells like that really just give me a headache. So I like stay away from them. I
Same.
use deodorant. All right, I'm not disgusting. I'm not weird, but whatever. I was like, maybe I'll buy some cologne or something. I just let me see if I like something. And I started spraying around and smelling and sniffing. Got a horrible headache. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I found the wallet section. All right,
There we go.
and I
Finally,
found
we
this
get the wallet
absolute
section.
beauty.
Jesus Christ.
No, no, this story has nothing to do with the wallet. It just
Oh
started.
my Lord.
I got this wallet. I looked at like 15 wallets, right? And the wallet that I have now, it was in the back, shoved in between the bottom shelf. I'm 6'5", all right? I'm way up there. All right. That bottom shelf was at ankles. I don't know why. I just happened to get on my knees and look around and see if there was anything in the back of the shelf. But I saw that beauty, dude. It looked great. $10 even, dude. Best purchase. Wow. It was great. Cheapest wallet I've ever purchased in my life.
What kind of
So,
is it like
huh?
a name brand or is it just a
Perry Ellis. I don't know if that's a good
Oh yeah,
brand
Perry
name,
Ellis.
brand,
That was
whatever.
like back in the
They said
'90s.
it was like $45. Said it was like 45.99 or something. I want to say. But here's the best part of the story. I find the wallet. I've never been so ecstatic in my life. Like I was so excited to just put my money in this wallet. I don't even know why. Like it was the biggest dad adult moment I've ever had in my life, and it honestly kind of hurt my feelings. And I really needed to share this with the viewers because you will grow up one day and you will hate every second of it. And I'm not lying. All right, you're gonna be like Will. You're gonna be old. You're gonna you're gonna have horrible dad jokes,
Well, that's
and
the
you're
thing.
gonna like adulting
I feel
and
like
cleaning.
getting old is like a privilege because not everybody gets to
Oh,
be old.
whatever.
So put some
Oh,
respect
anyways,
on our name.
Now to the best part of the story. I saw one of the greatest things on planet Earth. All right, I'm walking to the checkout line, and I saw the hottest woman I've ever
Oh my
seen in my
lord,
life.
really?
Dude, I I need you viewers to help me get some game. All right, in person I have no game. All right, well, when I don't know them, I have no game. Like once I know somebody at like a name basis, and like we gotta stick game. But when I don't know somebody, dude, all might will. When I tell you, if she would have said yes, bro, I'd have flew out to Boston that weekend, and I would have met you there at your doorstep before you came back from Philly to show you my prize, because that was legit. All right. When
But
I
you
tell
didn't
you,
say
I was about
anything.
to pull some Aladdin.
But she,
Well, but you see what had happened was right. So I in, in the back of my head, I had to think about why squares are purple, and that's why the grass goes up on the clouds and stuff. So that's I had to walk my fish with a brick, and I had to fold the dishes. So yeah,
this reminds me of a time
that's why I didn't say nothing.
when I was in college earlier before
I
I met
thought you was
you.
flowing your hair back. Oh boy,
Back when
don't
um,
cut it out. You don't got
I
none there.
remember we were coming from a party with me, Matt, and Luke, and I don't know why, but it must have been like maybe sophomore year, maybe the first second semester. My confidence was like through the roof for no reason whatsoever.
You said I was feeling some type of way.
I had no reason to be so confident, right? And there are these three girls standing there talking, and like we're leaving this house, we're walking back, and I told Matt, I said, "Watch a pro." That's all I said to him. And I turn around to go like walk to these girls, and he just takes off running towards them because they're like a little bit of ways away, and he takes off running down towards them. And in between, I like stop off and talk to someone, and I get down there and just completely get like just completely dissed, not even paying me like it's like a time of day. And I'm like, what's good? And they're like, oh, your friend told us what you said. You said watch your
Oh,
pro, huh? I like say, yeah, let's watch a pro go home by himself, and then they like turn around and left. And I can't. I went back to them. I'm like, dude, why did you? Why? He says you had no reason to be that confident. I had to get you back down there.
uh,
You feeling yourself a little bit too much. Um,
hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. You were glitching.
and now that comes up like all the time. Watch the pro. I quickly came back down to earth, man. But but you know what I say though? I couldn't be y'all. I couldn't be these young dudes these days. It is I was talking to my friend, I was talking to Matt about this, about a friend of ours who went to school with who's like getting back into the dating scene. And I'm like, I don't miss I'm glad I never had to deal with that in this age, the Tender, whatever the heck it is. Like y'all use
Dude, you
these
know how hard it is
people.
nowadays? It is bad.
I
Bad.
heard I heard it's bad. It's hard. That's just the
Oh
game.
yeah.
I don't have to worry about playing.
Dude, let me tell you. I struggling. Like really bad in the dating industry. I don't know what it is. Maybe my charisma and riz is just too much for these women out here. No, honestly I think what it is though is nowadays like people the way the world is like everybody's like just so much more closed off. I feel like I feel like with social media things get around so much quicker. So like people take precautions like right now. So like I feel like back when when you were younger and in college and stuff, like phones and social media wasn't as prominent as it is now.
There was
I
no
feel
real
like if something
social
if
media.
you
I don't even think
whatever,
Facebook
dude,
was
you didn't.
called social. I don't even think Facebook, Twitter, like I don't even know if it had the name of social media, but like it just was interesting. I think maybe not to cut you off, but as you mentioned that though, Steve, I remember when Facebook came out. I was a freshman, and it was like invite school only, right? So your school had to be invited to be a part of Facebook. And I had a bunch
Wow.
of friends. Well, right, because I mean, it started out at Harvard, and so Mark Zuckerberg, like, was originally meant.
Oh, here we go with the Harvard jokes. We
Well,
get it, Will.
okay, I'm just saying that like around that time is when I was a freshman, and so it was designed to kind of act like this this thing that he had when he was in boarding school, where it kind of had everyone's name and information. So that was supposed to be like a digitized version of it. But when it expanded outside of Harvard, it was like invite only for other schools. So only certain schools were given access. And it was mostly like the Ivies and some of the upper, like, ranking schools and stuff like that within that first year. And I remember like when it was out and everyone was making Facebook accounts, I didn't even create an account. Like someone I knew had enough of my information that made me an account and then sent me an email and said, here's your Facebook account. And the way we
And you still got that same one to this day?
I still have the same one, yeah. But the way we used it was just like if you met someone at a party, right? You weren't gonna remember their name probably. So they would just be like, well, just here, I'll just add you on Facebook. And so either they would go on the browser on their phone or whatever, or they would just like look you up when they got home, and that's how you remembered people. But it'd be so funny because you'd go a month or so without seeing someone, and then you'd see them on Facebook, and you just be like, where do I know that person from? You wouldn't be able to remember where you even met them, or you run into someone, right, and you start talking to them like you know them, and really it's only because you've seen their profile on Facebook, but like they don't remember ever meeting you, they don't remember ever adding you as a friend. So it was like the Wild West. But I will say that like a few girlfriends that I got in college was simply just because of sending like a random message on Facebook. And now I guess that's like getting someone's DMs or something like that these days. I don't really know, but it was the Wild West. You could do that kind of stuff and be successful. I don't think that's the case anymore. I hope Alicia doesn't end up watching this podcast, but it was it was all before her. Well, that's the thing too. Like we weren't even friends on Facebook. Oh, whatever. By the time I got out of college, I wasn't even like just didn't even really care about it anymore. But yeah, I gotta imagine it's even harder for like guys my age who kind of back when you were a millennial, it meant you were young. Now to be a millennial means like you're an old dude. So I can only imagine. Gotta be tough out there.
Facts.
Yeah, viewers, if you have any tips for Johny or other people, about
Oh, bro, don't do me like that. No.
yeah, you might
Dang, that's tough.
you might get
Will, I don't need the viewers, all right? All I need is my Uncle Will as the world's greatest wingman. Look at that.
I don't know about that. I feel like people see a wedding ring I feel like maybe naturally the hard part for me is like I'd start talking about Nada and they'd be like, wait a minute. You have a kid? And like, oh yeah, I've been married for like a million years. I'm here for him. I'm here to help him out. No, I'll tell you what, since we're on this, I'll go back to not being married. And what I hated about being the wingman, right, is like you get a friend who has a girl that they really like. Yeah, she's pretty cute. But you got to take one for the team and take that friend who is not necessarily even your type or.
And say it how it is, man. You got to take the ugly friend out.
I'm trying to be.
No, fuck. Nah, man.
I can't tell you how many times I've been in that situation in high school and college where I'm just like,
dude,
I love you.
Dude, this is one of the moments. It's a got to see it through, my boy. Like as a wingman, it's a hard job. Being a wingman is a hard job, and people don't understand it.
It really is. Like if you end up having to be a wingman like too many times, and it's just too many of the same kind of women that you're having to be the wingman for, and then all of a sudden everyone thinks that you have that type, and then you get associated with that, and then that's the only barrel you're fishing from, dog. Like you get relegated to that type, and you're just like, no,
No, dude. The worst part about being a wingman is like when because when you're a wingman, you're doing it for your buddy, all right?
Yeah,
You
okay.
are 100% just trying to see your homeboy or your girlfriend just really happy. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with you. This is because you see your home dog is slacking a little and your happiness, and he needs him a spouse or a mate, as we would say. But the worst part about it, in my opinion, is when you're a wingman, you always end up pulling the girl that they want. Have you ever noticed that? Because every time I've ever been a wingman, I always pull the girl that they want, and then they get mad at me. I didn't,
I don't
bro,
know.
not my bad. All right, I'm pretty good at my job. All right, don't get mad because you suck. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm trying to think here.
And then I feel bad, and then I gotta drop her.
I don't think I've ever been in that situation myself.
You ain't a good wingman, man. You're not doing something right.
Honestly, I try not to be someone's wingman because again, I got stuck in some situations where all of a sudden there is a particular type of woman that I am just not really. I'm just not about that, and then it just becomes the kind of girl that gravitates to you all the time because they're used to seeing you with girls like that, and it's like no. I was doing it for him. This had nothing to do with me. I don't have no interest. I don't even really want to talk to you. I'm just being polite.
Tell us how you really feel, Will. Say it with your chest out.
No, I think the thing I've experienced more than anything is maybe not understanding the
boundaries.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe separate from being a wingman, right? Let's say you strike up what is believed to be a platonic friendship on someone's part, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, "Oh, this girl's really feeling me," and it's just no, I'm really not. I like you for a friend, and it's usually either because they actually like one of your dudes, and now all of a sudden you're becoming the middleman for the girl you like to get to one of your dudes. I've been there before. Or you then, a few days later, you end up meeting their boyfriend, and it's oh, okay, why did you could have just said something, Nobody wants to just kind of go through that and then be introduced to the boyfriend. Come on, tip me off, let me know, be straight up, I've had that happen bizarrely more times than I like to even admit. Where I'm
because Will ain't got no rules. He is not the Wizard King, all right? That's what it is. He's just not there.
Typically, I will say that when college and this happened, it was typically with upperclassmen girls, right? And you're just wow, I must be really killing it because this girl's a junior, senior. Here I am a freshman, sophomore, and then it's no, they were just doting on you. You were that cute little stupid freshman, but really here's their senior boyfriend that they're probably gonna get married to a couple months after they graduate. So I have actually had that happen too. It's oh, y'all aren't just dating, y'all ended up getting married shortly thereafter. But we can still stay Facebook friends. Right. That's cool.
Will's more of the guy that sit and wallow in the shadows and be because he didn't.
I have nothing to regret. I'm completely happy and content. This is for all you young guys out there. These are just the pitfalls that you might find yourself in, or young women.
Let's go.
I don't know about the perspective for a woman. That's for a guy. I feel we are so. It's just easy to make us happy, I think.
Yeah, man. Being a guy, I was actually just having a conversation with the girl about this. Being a guy is just so much easier, and it's not because it's the way society is. It's literally just the way that men carry themselves. For example, men just don't care. They don't let their outfit because you got a hole in your knee in your jeans. They don't let that stop their their momentum of happiness for the day. We're well, I guess she's running out of health, and you go, and then for work, just going out with the boys. Right here. Yep, they're good. Come on.
Right.
That's what you do. You know what I mean? Women are like, oh no, I wore those socks yesterday for an hour. I cannot. No, 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 no. And then they don't have socks. They're like, oh, dude. And then they stress out about everything. They take everything so seriously. Like,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the fly.
I think maybe, for me, it's kind of like I do find that I think it's like it's easier to be a guy in some ways, and that like yeah, it's more of a societal thing for sure. But I also think it's just easier to be for some guys. Like before the very controversial, incel group was banned on like Reddit and everywhere else, which again, like rightfully so. But I feel like for guys who aren't like who don't feel very confident about themselves or have a hard time like kind of carrying that confidence or maybe believe something about themselves that prevents them from being confident or being able to approach, you know, same sex, opposite sex, like whomever they're interested in. I feel like that's where it is a bit different because I feel like for guys, like sometimes we can just care way less about things and be able to be more confident. But there are some guys who are like, if you're very anxious, if you don't have a lot of confidence, I feel like you miss out on the fact. And I don't I have a daughter, so I don't condone or support the way that society is structured. I mean, I feel like it should be more equal, but I think it is a bit more challenging for them to be able to capitalize on how easy it can be to be a guy.
I
Like
think being a woman's easier.
you do.
Well, depending on what I'm, there are pros and cons. I mean, there's a lot of things that it's better to be a guy, and there's a lot of things better to be a girl. I mean, the obvious ones, if you want a kid, it's probably way easier to be a girl. You know what I mean? You can actually, But I mean, like being a guy, like I feel like you're way more active when it comes to getting into the military, compared to a woman. Granted, those things have changed, and they're able to do that. But I mean, I just feel like it's a little harder for a woman. I feel like I don't want to say it's frowned upon, but I feel like people just they see a woman in the military, they're like, oh, you know, or like as a woman, I feel like it's way easier to get rich like off of something stupid. I mean, just I'll use OnlyFans as an example because it's
Uh,
super duper easy. Dude, girls can get so rich off of OnlyFans, and it's just like sitting in their bedroom like this with this thing. All you need is a camera, and they're millionaires. You know what I mean? In weeks. But like a guy, like, yeah, I'm sure they could do that. But like I feel like it'd be way harder to be a guy
yeah, I
and
feel
get
like
rich off
that
of
particular kind of
OnlyFans.
industry.
Statistically speaking.
Yeah, no, no, no. I think that kind of industry in of itself is it's interesting, right? I think this is where this is why it's like it's nice to have our differences here, right? You got your young male perspective, you're still figuring out things. I'm a bit older. I think I got things figured out, and really neither one of us know what the fuck we're talking about. Oh, well, no, we're talking about. Sorry. Maybe we'll just bleep me out. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately because I had read a story about a woman locally who was a nurse who stopped being a nurse during COVID, and her and her partner started doing OnlyFans, and she makes more money per month doing that than she made in a year as a nurse. And I thought, well, only certain people can. I mean, it's like if you're attractive and you know can build up the clientele.
Yeah.
But also, I thought like even a handsome guy probably would not pull in
Handsome.
the amount of money that a woman could pull in because it's just like who's paying for that? Like, do women have to pay for OnlyFans? Like, are they cut? Like, I don't know. I mean,
I don't
I,
know.
I think that it's. I think maybe they are. However, I guess the point I'm trying to make though is that I think just like with anything within that particular kind of industry, it still does skew more towards even if you have more female millionaires through this platform, right? Like the whole fact that that even exists and is a high money making platform is because of like the insatiable male appetite for that kind of content, which in and of itself does kind of marginalize women in a way that's like not necessarily very it can be deemed as harmful, right? Because it's like, I don't know. It's not like I've been thinking about it a lot, but I feel like I do think about it more as as Nada gets older, and it's kind of like whatever she wants to do with her life, whatever. But it's like there are just some things that even when you think a woman's getting like a leg up, or it's like oh, this is an industry that women can capitalize on. It's like it's still rooted in like some sort of male. I can't really explain it. I'm not gonna. I don't even want to try to. It's just I still see it as being a little problematic between the genders, in that something like that explodes overnight. It's a bit telling about our society essentially and what we value and how we value women, right? Like we'll make a woman a millionaire by doing whatever she has to do on OnlyFans, but we wouldn't elect a woman as like president, right? And I'm just saying that in that like we didn't. We have not. We have a vice president as a woman, but there's still many people who believe that like women can't be president because of biological and temperamental and like all these psychological things, right? That they think a male is more suited for that, but yet we have no problem throwing money at like OnlyFans, right? It's almost like we're kind of saying like
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I see exactly what you're saying there. Like about the president thing. Personally, I honestly not just presidency. I feel like anything. Like if a person is qualified and suited for it, no matter if you're a man, woman, transgender, whatever it is, I think if you were qualified and suited for it, what's the worries then? What's the issue?
right.
Like
Let's
I
let
work in
the
the pipe.
person do it.
Yeah, it's like I work in the pipeline, and there's people like, oh, well, you work with all guys. No, dude, we got girls here. I mean, most of the girls are flaggers, but I'm sure that there is, like female pipeliners that grab a shovel and dig just as good as half of the guys that I work with. You know what I mean? Or can operate a backhoe or an excavator, like just as good as all these other people. I think women don't give themselves enough credit. I feel like for so long that they've been, like pushed down and like, hey, it's like not your thing, like whatever, dude. And then you got the people that take advantage of it. Oh, I'm a girl, I can't do that. I get it, whatever. But I think as a piece of advice for everybody, like man or woman, if you don't think you can do something, like prove them wrong. Go for it. Do it. Because one thing with starting this podcast that I've realized is everybody that I talk to about it, thinking about starting, and they're like, "Oh, dude, it'd be a lot of work and blah 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 blah." Which they weren't wrong. They're like, "Oh, but I'm doing it now, and I'm enjoying every second of it. Just honestly, just being able to connect with my family, and then hopefully inspire somebody. Tell
Right.
them something that we know.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that ain't good. But yeah, I feel like everybody, has a little something to be good at. Everybody's got that thing that keeps them, right and intact and stuff. And I think once you find that, like the sooner you find that, the better your life is going to be. Just because when you're good at something, people don't like say, for example, if there was a woman and she was the world's greatest marksman we have ever seen, like on foot, running, jumping, all that good stuff, and she goes into the military and a general or something sees that, I feel like there's not going to be an issue anywhere because she is so qualified, she's suited, she knows her stuff. I feel like you're hired, you're in,
Right.
you're doing this, like no problem. But
Yeah.
I feel like people are just so ashamed of that stuff.
Right. I mean, it's more like I think it could possibly just be more so like a generational issue, right? Where eventually, once we have a society where more people are thinking about equality rather than like biologically, then we'll get there. But we still got a long way. But you know what? That's the funny thing about this podcast, right? Like we do not profess to be experts at anything, and here we're having a conversation about gender equality.
Stuff that you should
And,
probably professional at.
right, but we don't know a ton about it, but like we're trying, right? And I feel like that's what we need. We like the whole podcast is about we are recognizing that you and I we know very little. We are sharing the little we know, and yet we're learning a bit more like as we go as well.
I think we're learning some from each other too, just I don't know. It's an interesting gig. Like it honestly, doing this podcast is just it's a fun gig. And honestly, I recommend anybody to do anything that is just a far-fetched idea. Like if okay, don't go and try to get a bank loan for a Lamborghini if you're only making $20,000 a year and you're working,
Yeah, I
through
mean, good luck
college.
getting that
Like
loan,
don't
but
do that. But
don't commit fraud.
yeah, but like if you think that like you have a shot to be like a social media influencer, do it. If you got an opportunity to be a chemist, like do it. If you want to be a marine biologist, go for it. Don't ever let money or anything stop you. Like really just kind of go because that first step, that first big step in the way that you're like, yeah, man, it's not gonna happen. Once you take that, that's over. It's butter. You just gotta get started. It might
Right.
not even be in the right direction, but if you start asking questions and stuff, people are gonna be like, "Oh, they're serious. Like, hold on, let me go see what this is about." And then if you show you're, intrigued and you want to learn something, people will help you. Not everybody is as cruel as you think, and as everybody says, like just go after it. Take that leap off the side of the cliff. Just make sure there's water at the bottom.
Right. And with that, let's kind of wrap up and let folks know that the two guests we have coming up next, Mosh from Bangladesh, we need to reschedule him. He was supposed to be this week, but we already discussed that. And then talking to Eric, who has a pretty interesting story and history around joining the military, being an immigrant, immigrating to the country. I know his story really well, but he knows his story even better. Professional saxophonist, married, like all kinds of cool stuff, and young too at that. Yeah, we have a couple of pretty good guests coming up, and we'll kind of get more back into the original form. But I feel like these casts are also pretty cool because giving you all a chance to kind of learn a little bit more how we think about things, and we didn't even get to the climate change, so we'll save that for next time. But man, I'm still gonna be having nightmares over that documentary I watched on.
God. All right, guys. I think that wraps it up
Mongolia.
for us
Yeah.
today. Make sure you follow us on all
Also, I'll talk. We
Make
need
sure
to
you
work on
follow
the
us on
podcast
all
level.
socials at the Little We Know Podcast. Also, we're gonna upload a double podcast this week, so stay tuned because we got busy and lazy and did not post last week's.
And we had
So
a big
look forward to
argument
both of
about
those.
yeah. We had a big argument about ice cream at the end. So yeah, smash that dislike.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh, here we go with the reverse psychology. This dang Harvard education dude, I swear it's getting to me.
it don't matter. It doesn't
He's
mean
all bad news.
news bears. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us this week. We look forward to double posting and then double having guests on for the next two. So yeah, you wanna say anything else before I close this out?
Just make sure you go like and subscribe, hit all the socials at the Little We Know Podcast. Also, again, if you guys would like to be a guest on podcast and share your daily life, or even just come on for a little bit and just share a little bit, if you don't have very much to talk about, fill out our application, and we will leave that in the description of the video. And fill it out. Tell us what you want, or even like if you just want to share something and want us to speak about it, that is okay too. I mean, we are really open to suggestion and stuff like that. We would just like to learn and inform the other people in the world. Maybe somebody has something really good to say. So with that